All right, we're back.
Back. Enough eulogizing the 22 to Liam.
Coming in hot.
Liam. Which Christmas movies did you watch this year?
What?
Son of a liar.
Still getting over the holidays. A little bit giggly.
Well, that came out weird.
Hearing some.
Oh, that's your phone.
I'll set these on.
C'est bon, she gone. You know, got to be a director of photography for a couple of seasons of a thing.
Exciting stuff. Sorry. Well, this party's a hoot.
Yeah. I think this camera's gonna run out of time.
All right, let's start the show. 2022 is no longer.
What happened to it?
Went kaput. You didn't hear?
Crap. Oh, the last whimpers of 2022.
Yeah, it's been quite a party. Lots has happened. Some good and some bad. We've had a pretty good year.
The best.
Director of photography here, Adam McSleeps a lot. Everybody make films sometimes. Dante was brought into the world, my son.
Yeah. You want the public to know all this about you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
About time.
Doting daddy.
I think I waited longer than Kylie Jenner, so should be good.
Oh, good. I'm glad there's good benchmarks out there to place your social something's out.
Yeah. I was a little late. I know you went to New York quite a while ago, but I went to New York this year for the first time.
Yeah, that's right.
That's crazy.
I mean, not to name drop, but your hotel had a great name. It was called like the Quandary or the Conundrum.
The Valiant.
Valiant?
Yeah. And it looked great on Google Images.
Yeah.
But then classic New York fashion. I get there and I can't even find it because all the scaffolding in front of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, so you gotta get to see a clean shot online.
Yeah.
And then just this garbage facade in real life.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
One of the most memorable times that me and you had actually in 2022 was this 60s party we went to.
Oh, yeah.
And I knew, a good majority of the people would be dressed as hippies.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to put a little flip on it, and I went as a non-vet.
Yeah.
And was just ripping all the hippies, telling them to get a job and stuff. But you really outdid yourself.
Went full. I mean, arguably, you offended more people. Because you had somebody up in arms with your, I guess, stolen valor or whatever they were mad at you for.
Yeah.
But, full Charles Manson. Right down to one of his more notorious bombings at, I think it was Dennis Wilson's studio.
Yeah.
And he, couldn't remember what to play or, how to do anything. Just, total mind farts the whole time.
Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, you killed it.
just embodied the moment. And even did the scrolling. I guess that was weird in retrospect because that wasn't 60s technology, but
Yeah.
whatever. Get the bomb it the hardest I possibly could, and people still were like, "Oh, you did a really good job."
Yeah. Supportive crowd.
Yeah,
But
it's you can't glorify this guy.
yeah, it was awesome that you brought up the thought of maybe going up on stage. There's already people playing music, and by this time it's kind of open mic, whoever wants to get up there.
Yeah, huge mistake.
You come up to me and I think I'm gonna maybe I'll play a song or something. I don't know if you were joking around at first, but I was like, "Oh, really? I'll be right back." And I was back within like less than 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it was like, Adam, you're going up next. So how did that feel? Was the pressure on, or were you?
Well, it just helped with the thing.
Yeah.
Really. So I took all of that, every bit of awkwardness. I wanted to push it a little bit further. I was like, I want my family. It was just never enough. I just kept.
Family?
Yeah, I just wanted.
That was the best part.
Calling everybody in.
Yeah.
I said at the end for them to all the pigs to die.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
controversial,
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was terrible.
Yeah.
So
In the best way possible.
so hopefully it hit a line that was acceptable. But I didn't have any flack or fallout until I put it out into the world here.
Yeah. Pretty good year for cinema, would you say?
Oh, I don't remember. Did anything good? That's right. Black Adam came out this year.
Yeah, it's crazy that the top 10 films of 2022, I've seen none of them.
Oh,
Such names as Elvis,
saw it.
Nope,
Saw it.
Everything, Everywhere, at least once. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once.
Yeah, it was great.
Saw it.
It was great.
Top Gun,
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
Licorice Pizza,
Yeah, it was awesome.
Quiet Girl.
Never heard of it.
Ha! Made it up. Happening.
Never saw. Well, not a new happening. It's not Mark Wahlberg
No.
re-release.
No.
11th year anniversary.
Oh, I haven't seen it. So
DVD on Blu-ray. High
maybe it
definition.
is. But I didn't see Black Adam either. But I did fall asleep to Don't Worry, Darling, if that counts.
You missed the best part, unless it was the first part you slept through.
No, I saw it. The first part?
Well, I guess we can't really spoil it because you haven't even seen the ending.
Caitlin told me.
Did she?
And it was classic fashion that I'm like, I think this is what's going to happen. And I fall asleep and I wake up and Caitlin's like, yeah, you were right.
Oh, I had some blinking suspicions going along, but I saw it in the theater and I was really suspect of everything.
Yeah.
Just like you with Eyes Wide Shut, I had the same kind of peekaboo expressionism towards that.
Yeah. So, Batman came out in 2022.
Yeah.
Spider-Man Far Away from Home.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get to that at some time
Yeah.
when it's more relevant.
Yeah.
Multiverse. Doctor Strange came out. I really liked that.
Yeah, it was fun. All these movies are so divisive.
Yeah.
Half of people don't think they're too long or suck halfway through.
I really enjoyed Prey.
I didn't watch that.
Really cool. Really smart tie-ins.
It's come up a fucking lot, you know what?
Like they actually have the gun that's at the start of Predator 2 in it.
Oh.
Because it's like prequel.
Yeah. It's prequel.
Yeah, so it's very
80s?
no,
70s?
like 1700s or something like that.
It's medieval?
Yeah, it's like an indigenous tribe.
No, it's going way back.
Yeah, there was like Frenchmen rolling in, and one of them had this gun that I'm getting taken from him, and it's actually at the start of Predator 2.
Hot dang.
Wild.
Quite the Easter egg.
Yeah, because I watched Predator 2 after this. Was like, oh, I'm in my Predator mood now.
I think it's on Disney Plus or Crave
that's where
or
we
something.
watched it, yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to whichever one's got it. X.
Yeah. It's a banger.
Don't know if we're supposed to say if we watched it or not.
No.
Can't spoil that. But
Yeah. I would never tell.
Pearl, also came out in 2022.
Saw the shit out of none of that yet.
Yeah.
But I did overhear some people saying that they enjoy Pearl more than X.
Yeah.
So I guess that speaks to it.
Yeah. Ty West.
Shout out to the random people I heard say that.
Yeah, Ty West is like DMX in 1998. Coming out with 2 movies in 1 year.
Oh, well. Are we talking Romeo Must Die? Is
No.
that...
Maybe,
DMX is in that
later.
though, right?
I don't, no, not Romeo.
Oh, it's
Must
so great.
Cradle,
I'll pry it out of this fucking shelf right now.
Cradle
It's
to
up
the
there,
Grave.
isn't it? Oh yeah, that is a good one actually. We got 2 minutes. What did you see? This is gonna be a violent night.
I did get to see Violent Night, which you gave 8 Z's out of 10.
Oh my god, I gave it such a high amount of Z's.
Yeah, I would have gave it a 7 or an 8 as well. Like I really enjoyed it.
I damn near cry laughed through.
I now know what you're gonna look like in 1710 years.
Oh yeah, yes. Can't remember all Nikolaus.
I think it had the right mixture of everything: violence, comedy, a little bit of sappy Christmas story.
Yeah, just a touch.
Yeah, just a
the
touch.
hair.
Yeah, but a very tainted family. No one's really innocent except for the people that are brought in. Mm-hmm. Well, really just the wife and daughter.
Yeah.
The other guy's pretty funny though. The the actor, he's kind of like a Johnny Cage.
The guy who jumps out the window.
Yeah. One movie I did watch. I thought that Violent Night was going to be my last movie of 2022, but I watched The Fabelmans, which isn't a Christmas movie.
Fuck.
It's actually a Hanukkah movie, if you catch my drift. But it's actually directed by Spielberg. He directed his own biopic, and it's about him as a child being, he's like a film prophet, the same way that they talk about how Elton John was just such a natural from very early on.
This boy was a gifted filmmaker.
Like he got a camera and he got a train set and he was cutting all these angles and he'd splice them together and stuff like that, like when he was really young. And then when he was like 16, he was in the Boy Scouts and he was doing like full load films.
Is this real footage? I'm more confused than when you first told me about it.
It's a dramatic piece.
Yeah.
But
actors play him?
Yeah, they're called the Fabelmans.
Must be a muscly little kid. And what's he think about himself?
He's a little toned.
Yeah.
But, oh man, the casting, you can just see Spielberg in there. Yeah. But Paul Dano plays his father.
Oh.
Which, was such a good move for Paul Dano because he always plays the crazy guy. But he plays the straight edge Jewish working class father.
Is this the one that got him out of Riddler mode?
Must have been.
I heard him in an interview saying that he needed to do something more wholesome feeling to him after.
This would be it.
Yeah. And
Michelle Phillips plays the kooky mother that not a lot of people know Spielberg had or has.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely worth watching.
The Fabelmans.
Fabelmans.
Not that we want to say what it is, but what was it on? Just for me.
My mom.
We can say it off air.
Yeah, but we lost quite a few celebrities this year. Louis Anderson, I think, was the first of the year.
Oh, yeah.
Lost. And I don't have them in any specific order.
And shout out to Louis Anderson, because I did watch the Christmas special from Life is Louie.
Yeah.
That came out sounding like that wasn't what it is, but I'm pretty sure that's what it was called.
Yeah.
And
No, Life with Louie.
Life of Louis?
Life with Louie.
Ah,
Either one.
Whatever it is.
Rest in peace.
It's great. But anyway, in that, the Christmas special, his dad's like, right? He got that voice. And they go and buy a Christmas tree, and it's $35 for a crappy tree. And I had spent $30 this year. Way better tree. So $35, and like, what year did that come out? 96 something?
Yeah, I was
97.
I was young when I was watching it.
Yeah.
Chrissy Alley,
Oh, that
Bob
was just
Saget.
that was this year.
Yeah. Meatloaf.
Holy shit.
Sidney Poitier. Angela Lansbury. Ray Liotta.
Yeah, Angela Lansbury was a huge one. I was so scared for my grandma to hear that.
Yeah.
Because she watches still Murder, She Wrote every day.
Yeah.
And that person, Angela, was just going and going forever.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, she's going to like give up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That was like my grandmother when the Queen passed away also in 2000.
Yeah,
I was really worried about her. Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah.
Anne Hesh.
Heish.
Loretta Lynn. Sorry, Hesh.
I'm pretty sure.
Gilbert Godfrey.
Oh my God.
Aaron Carter.
Yeah.
Green Ranger. I'm sorry that I should have looked that up. What his name was, but Green Ranger and sometimes White.
White Tiger.
And then Estelle Harris and Liz Sheldon? Sherry? Oh, fuck. The two mothers of Seinfeld.
Yeah. Estelle Costanza.
And Helen Seinfeld.
Helen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Both 93, I think. Something like that.
Yeah.
They were close in age, I thought, when I had seen
Yeah,
them.
they were both up there.
Yeah.
No, I might end up chopping this. But, yeah.
What, all the bummers out of it?
We did,
This upcoming thing?
Yeah.
We may chop this upcoming thing.
we did, lose a local celebrity this year.
Oh, yes.
Which, I don't want this to be like a jump on the bandwagon kind of thing, but I think it deserves to be mentioned that Pat Stay was taken from us this year. And the only reason I say that is because, he really is a celebrity. Like, for a certain culture around here, he is the Sidney Crosby or Brad Marchand.
Yeah.
People that would look up to, players that made it from Nova Scotia to the NHL. He was really doing something. And we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
We don't want to bum you guys out before we actually get to the episode at hand.
Yeah. Long goodbye to 2022, that.
Yeah.
And now a quick into long goodbye.
Yeah, maybe that was too long.
Who cares?
But, yeah.
It's the end of the year,
We're
man.
here, we're partying. It's late.
Yeah.
Got my coffee.
Yeah.
Got my champagne.
Mm-hmm. We've learned lots of lessons. Oh, shouldn't flick like that. And also...
Another one just learned. First lesson learned of 2023.
Lots of, just learning how to edit the podcast and get better at it. And
I hope so.
And, try not to swig-a-rooney too much. Just, like, on camera, I guess, Keep it to the aesthetic almost. Quit playing with the props here. No, I'm just kidding.
Blew our loads on these t-shirts and logos, so maybe we'll get some
way ahead of ourselves.
Get some soundproofed coasters, or I might even be able to get some disposable cups with our logo on it, because sky's the limit.
Oh man, don't give away all of our future plans.
Sorry.
Not the mugs.
The mug.
But this episode, before we keep tooting our own horns, plenty of problems in the upcoming episode to hate ourselves and loathe over.
Yeah, well, this dummy here, and I'm talking to me.
Oh my God.
This dummy here was new to this new fandangled thing and actually had my directional mic pointed towards Adam.
Yeah, power move.
So, Frankie hates us.
Frankly.
So I tried to do, best job I could do with a mix of the audio, and, I don't think it's going to bother you guys too much, but if it does, let us know.
Yeah, please mail it to.
I'm telling you, we got a backlog of progression just waiting for you.
And enough about me. And more about Robert Altman.
Yes, he's the man of the hour.
Yeah. Cheers to this guy, man. At the time of the episode, I still hadn't seen too much of his stuff, but there's a book there that I did go on to read, and saw MASH finally.
Okay.
Didn't watch Popeye or some other movies that might have been mentioned in there.
Save it for the cast.
Yeah. It's safe. You're right. You're damn right. So just a couple of things that I went on that I definitely did mention in there that were interesting about him is in the movie. Shout out to if you see it, I guess. But there's a house there, nice crib, and the land. Hey,
Marlowe's crib.
Could have been. I'm not sure exactly which one, but it's got a garage. I'm sure it shows it in it. I'd have to go back and look.
Probably Sterling's.
Mm-hmm. But it's a nice place because this guy was horrified to even have them shooting in there to draw any attention to it.
Yeah.
And when Robert Altman left, he took the garage door opener, and every time he drove by the place, he would just and watch it go up and just hope it's scaring this guy.
Yeah.
He did lots of weird, malicious things, too. He's a tough guy. He was like an Air Force guy, I believe,
Okay.
when he was young. And got into making movies really late. He was doing corporate work or commercial stuff, you know what I mean? And then he got into it with, I think MASH was his first thing. Which was, did you ever watch MASH?
Not the film, but I love the show.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Mm-hmm. And it's one of those ones where you go back and you're like, oh, might have been too sexist. If you ever watch Porky's or something, when they look through the peephole,
Yeah.
a lot of that kind of stuff in it. But Elliot Gould, who's in the this, and Donald Sutherland are like the two main characters in that.
And duo.
Oh my God! And they're like right away they land like in the opening scene, and then they take a Jeep and just take off and go to this place. And they're acting like rock stars, getting all the women, and it's kind of broken up into 4 stories almost. And I guess it revolutionized kind of people talking over each other in a movie, and solidified really Robert Altman. Always had to have final cut and stuff so he could do these weird things to break the molds and kind of pioneer, which I think is pretty interesting, but at the cost of some personal something. But he's cool. He smoked lots of weed, like everybody in the book who they interview always had meetings where all he did was smoke the whole time. And yeah, it was super cool.
The movie itself was super cool. Like, I'm really glad that you showed that off to me, and kudos to you for looking into the guy. I hope we see some more from old Robbie. I feel like we can call him Robbie now.
Yeah. Altzer.
Altzer. We'll work on it.
Yep. Looks like we're making memories on both of them.
All right. Let's do a short hello.
To who?
To Altman.
To Altman, yeah.
My first Altman film.
Yep.
The year was 1972.
Was it?
Godfather came out.
Go on.
The Way of the Dragon, Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Deliverance.
Scream, piggy. Squeal.
And a film that I've seen recently for the first time, The Long Goodbye.
Nice.
You actually introduced me to this film, so how did you first come across it?
Well, I started looking into Altman actually after I saw something with Paul Thomas Anderson. He was talking about, I think, how much Boogie Nights or something was inspired by some Altman stuff. And heard his name.
One of your favorite films.
Yeah. And so I think I just heard his name coming up a couple times. Also, Robert Downey Jr., when he was on the WTF podcast, he was talking about his dad doing Putney Swope and some Altman stuff as well, if I'm not mistaken. But like Nashville was one. I think The Long Goodbye was really my first introduction to it as well.
I think we've always been fans of noirs and neo-noirs.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that this was probably the first of that subculture of neo-noirs because it was just so different from the classic Humphrey Bogart films.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was based...
It almost seemed like a satire,
mm-hmm.
in a sense. Where, Jack Geller, main character there, just...
Elliot Gould.
Yeah. He... it was perfect timing because we were talking about a film noir and I'm saying, like, how do you make a detective character not cliche?
Mm-hmm.
And you retorted with The Long Goodbye. And it definitely was one of the most original takes on that, classic film noir anti-hero.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I think you did great. I like, that's not only the first Altman film, but the first young Elliot Gould film that I've seen.
Yeah.
And like, I've just seen him as a old feller, so it was nice to see him.
Yeah,
where he got his chops from, because you always hear so much about him.
Mm-hmm.
People always talk about him in high regard.
Yeah. Yeah, and like, this is really the oldest thing that I was seeing him in as well.
Yeah.
It was so good to see him, not that he's not sharp now, but like kind of like Chevy Chase in his element, that kind of like dry.
Yeah.
And this one here, The Long Goodbye, based on Raymond Chandler book.
Yes.
So one of those like Philip Marlowe, the main guy.
Which was a reoccurring character in his novels.
Yeah, and like 50s movies and stuff. Yeah. Like, this noir fell out of favor after a while. It was old timey to do it, in the 60s or whatever.
Yeah.
So then, it brings about this neo-noir and like reinventing this character and like turning him into like a, disheveled, sarcastic, PI. I guess he's a PI.
Yeah, because that novel, they kind of turned the character on its head. Like, he was always more of a, cookie cutter Humphrey Bogart
Mm-hmm.
kind of character, and then they really let loose with him on this one.
Yeah, exactly.
The Long Goodbye.
Yeah, which brings us to the score.
Yeah.
I know there's some kind of story about John Williams of Star Wars fame and whatever, getting this thing. And I believe he
would have just came off of New Hope.
No, that's way later in the 70s, I think, like 77 or something.
So of course, he did Long Goodbye before Star Wars.
Yeah, but I think there was something where he, just did all these versions of one song or whatever, like one hook.
Yeah,
like
I loved it, like right off the bat, and even I'm pretty sure the intro wasn't it 2 different versions of the same song? Because when it's diegetic score is when he's in the car, but then it cuts to
like hearing like practical
yeah
and then like inputted stuff. No,
so even right off the bat they're showing 2 different versions of the same song, but then like there's a scene with the house party.
Mm-hmm.
And they're all singing it like a folk song.
Yeah.
And that's when it clicked in for me. Is that like every song that is in this film is the exact same song. And I thought that was genius.
Yeah.
Especially for that like satire-y kind of film.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it did get heavy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I guess maybe just jump back to the beginning, to the introduction of the character, Philip Marlowe. Yeah. So, chain smoking, immediately a little...
2 cartons of cigarettes.
Little pat the dog sort of situation
If you want to quit smoking, watch this film.
And he's got a cat. Yeah. He lives in like a little bachelor patty kind of thing up on real high in LA. Yeah. A lot of elevators and stairs and stuff to get up there. But then there's, naked babes up there always doing magic brownies. Yeah. And he's in there. So it starts with a really interesting thing with his cat.
And they really hit home that it's like start of the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's that timepiece hidden in there. Mm-hmm. That really
free love.
Yeah,
kinda.
Exactly. Yeah, but not so much. How in the 60s it was all like had a meaning, a purpose, and then in the 70s all was kind of lost.
Yeah,
and people forgot about why they were doing this, and just it wasn't about the love, it was just about the drugs.
Mm-hmm.
But going back to his cat friend, and what do we know about people that live with cats? Usually a little strange,
lonely.
Yeah, it's like the classic
easy to take care of
symbolism for a lonely person.
Mm-hmm.
Not even an affectionate animal.
Well, my cat is here and there. So he's in there, and there's already like a little bit of like detective deception all built into this little scene. Like it's a real good I don't know if it's visual storytelling, but telling a story using a little trope without actually like saying anything.
There's a lot of symbolism in that scene because he I think what you're referring to is that he goes to the store and buys cheap cat food.
Yeah, tries to hoodwink the cat with some cheap food.
And he has
it's not that it was cheap, stuff. It's that they didn't have the specific kind he was looking for. Yeah. So, he goes through all that trouble of, you got
to make do.
Yeah, hiding it, you know, putting it in the separate can. Yeah. And then giving it to him. The cat is still like, no, you think you can fool me? Yeah. No way.
Yeah. And also, what did we learn about the main character, Marlowe, is that he doesn't, right off the bat, you see, he doesn't mind getting his hands dirty.
Yeah.
Like, he is deep dishing into that can, getting every little.
Is he doing
speck
with
of
his
seasoning.
hands, like his
Oh,
actual
yeah.
hands,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Like
He
I
gets
did-
right in there.
Yeah, I forgot to mention there's no spoon involved here.
Yeah, there's no polish on Marlowe. Yeah, so then his surfer buddy,
Yeah, fucking cool dude friend
really sets off the film.
shows up in probably a convertible or some kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. Well, because he's in the montage at the start of it, in the intro. You find out that his wife is dead,
Yeah,
and he has to get out of there.
yeah. He's being framed for it.
Yeah. It was perfect, like that seems to happen in the film noir, and any idea that we've talked about is it's always, that downward spiral of it's getting caught in the spider web. You think it's one thing, and then along the way, all these totally different stories intersect.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a dude in distress.
Yeah. And then, another dude in distress was the Ernest Hemingway type character, Sterling.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like at that culty retreat.
Yeah, that was super crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think that this big burly guy, this no bullshit type character,
Yeah, looks like a sea captain.
could get sucked into this, little brainwashy Munchausen-y.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're so sick. You shouldn't go. You shouldn't go.
Yeah.
Oh, you owe us money.
Yeah.
And he comes to
God damn.
yeah,
Will Smith them.
yeah. He comes to the party.
I think double slaps.
Yeah, well, he
Gets
goes
2 or 3.
and it kind of seems like this guy's grown a backbone against him. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
What are you doing here, guy? Get out of here!
Yeah, exactly.
He starts,
He's putting on a show for the party.
yeah, waves him off and stuff.
Yeah.
Friggin' gets slapped. Goes into like a little bit of a ooh. Comes to his senses. Oh, here's your money straight away, pal. Yeah, no.
Pays him up. Kicks everyone off the property.
Mm-hmm.
And it really showed, the manipulation.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't because this little guy has, like, the hardest slap. Like, it definitely rocked him. It was a hard slap. But I think...
it was more like a...
It's a power move.
Mm-hmm.
People like that, he owns you in a sense. Like, owns your mind. And that's what they do. Like a Charles Manson type character, you know what I mean?
And maybe a little of that cluck like a chicken when you hear a bell kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then the even more intense character was the drug dealer there.
Yeah, he was a great antagonist there. A bit of almost like a red herring antagonist, sort of. He, like, as far as, like, like what he gets wrapped up in the Sterling stuff. And
yeah, exactly. Because a very memorable scene where he hits the girl that he loves. He's saying how much he likes her.
Is that the same scene where they are getting naked right before it a little bit?
No, that's at the end.
No, with Arnold?
Yeah, that's like the last scene.
Wasn't that one earlier in it?
The Coke bottle scene.
Yeah.
Was like I don't know, like first half hour or something like that. I think it's before Sterling's involved.
Okay.
Is that he's saying how much he likes this girl, and then he smashes her in the face with the Coke bottle, and he says, like, imagine what I do to someone I don't like.
Just ruthless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Menacing.
Imagine what I do to you when this is what I do with someone I love.
And then she's still around later on, all bandaged up.
Yeah, reminiscent of the Batman.
Yeah.
89.
Yeah. Arnold makes his cameo.
Mm-hmm.
Shows his mini bulge.
Yeah, it strips right down.
Whitey Bulger.
Yeah.
And very awkward. Like, he can't even get his pants down over his big thighs.
I know.
And he stops. Like, it's almost like he did it too quickly or something like that. He doesn't know. And he's playing with the belt a little too long.
Haircut.
Yeah. He was...
which isn't what you want to hear when you're pulling down your pants. But...
yeah, he was wet between the ears on that one.
Yeah, I guess he was.
Yeah. And I guess that would have been, like, him in his prime, too. Like, not for acting-wise.
Yeah.
But for his...
pumping iron.
Yeah, weight build... bodybuilding. Yeah, like, he was massive.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's probably when he just started getting big, and they said, "Hey, come show your body in this film. We wrote a scene just for you. We get naked."
Yeah.
And there's something with the money.
Mm-hmm.
That was a funny scene.
Yeah.
At the end, there's like this very tiny hint of him trying to take some of the money, and someone slaps his hand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So yeah, and then so the female, well, there was a clear femme fatale.
Yeah.
Seems like the most innocent. They usually do.
Yeah, and the wife of the Sterling Harding or whatever. Yeah. That's the actor's name. Not he's like Ernest Hemingway-ish. I forget his name in the actual movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but his wife. Yeah, so he's like a little bit distrustful of her. But as the audience, you're not really. Like, you feel like he's the more irrational of the two. Yeah. And maybe that does have a lot to do with, how they build up his character or whatever. Yeah. Like, maybe a lot of that stuff is in there. Yeah. Just to, make her seem like the more rational of the two.
Especially because, his drinking. Mm-hmm. I think people are taking advantage of him because he's vulnerable and has this addiction, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, they have that culty guy kind of seem like he's the antagonist of his life. But, the wife, who seems, like you said, the more rational one, is actually the one who's pulling the strings.
Yeah. They do a good job of disguising that along the way.
Yeah, and that scene where she's saying not to drink, like he's pouring the drink in front of her. Yeah. And it's almost that, it's almost like hearing your parents fight or something like that when you're watching the scene. Like, they're getting so deep into it. Yeah. Yeah. And he's just on the beach.
Yeah. Just walking into the waves.
Yeah.
Just going. Yeah. Just as freaking return to the sea.
Yeah. And it's funny because he has this, like, ship captain vibe.
Yeah.
And then he went into the sea.
Yeah, went down with no boat.
Yeah.
And since we're spoiling it, I guess might as well get all the spoilers out of the way just to connect this.
There will be spoilers.
His wife in it, ends up with the surfer dude who Philip Marlowe, like, immediately makes himself a guilty party by driving this guy down to Mexico and dropping him off.
And vouching for him the whole film. He said he would not kill his wife. I love that scene. Talk about that scene a bit. We'll backtrack. With the cops.
Mm-hmm.
When he's in the interrogation room.
Yeah.
You really liked that scene.
Mm-hmm.
What did you like about that scene?
Tell me about it.
I'm asking you. What did you like about that scene?
I can't remember offhand.
Well, the two cops show up at his house.
Yeah.
And they arrest him because he was the last person that saw this friend.
Mm-hmm. They're pushing him along. You're coming with us.
Yeah. And then they take him down. And it's just like such character building because it's pretty early on that you really see the smart alecky side of him, the rebel with a cause side of him, because he's always trying to keep it straight with Sterling and the wife and everyone like that. But then you see the other side of him when he's around the real law.
Yeah.
And these people knew him, so he's obviously been down this road before.
Yeah. Usually on the other side of it, maybe.
Yeah.
But he knows how to handle himself.
Yeah, exactly.
In that type of situation.
Yeah. So you really get to know what kind of guy he is.
Yeah. Some fun in games.
Yeah.
It's like Act 2 shit.
And this is when it's all being set up because he's saying that the friend would never kill his wife.
Yeah.
And then it ends up being an entanglement where the two stories come together. Because Sterling's wife, like you said, was with Surfer Boy.
Yeah, but you don't see them together. I don't know if there's all that many tells along the way.
No.
Other than...
There isn't really anything. Like, she admits to it. Yeah. After Sterling goes in the sea.
Yeah.
But, it's just the final shot of him killing him.
Yeah.
And then when he's driving away, they pass.
Yeah. And she's going back. And
because
she's
she saw him down there.
Yeah, she's going to be walking into this guy dead and all alone. Yeah. And she's left alive, too, just to deal with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, got so wronged by his buddy that, not unlike Batman.
Yeah.
He fucking takes him right out.
Yeah.
Which is a good end.
Yeah. I liked it. I think, it served to his character. What do you think he does after this?
Well, he was just so, satisfied. It seemed like he could do anything.
Yeah.
But, he seems like he's going to go back to his regular life to me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Another day, another dollar with this guy.
And I don't know, maybe that's a theme kind of in the novels with this guy, Yeah. There wasn't a lot of that maybe, progression in storylines, stand alone, didn't, learn this from his last case kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you would see in comic books or whatever. It almost became like a soap opera because there was, everybody had dated everybody.
Yeah, exactly.
Everybody had fought everybody and ganged up with this person and, been this, been that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So it really was the thickest spider web I've seen out of a film noir, because it's always has that feel to it.
Mixed with that kind of Big Lebowski kind of meandering sort of stumbling into kind of situation, and just taking it in stride. He's got the smoke. He's got that almost like a Kramer vibe to him with his lankiness.
Yeah. And he, putting them out and lighting them back up. I'm surprised he didn't spend some time in the hospital after that. I went serious detox of the lungs there.
Yeah.
I wonder if he even smoked.
Yeah, that's a good question. Someone like Clint Eastwood or whatever would only smoke during movies and not in real life.
Kevin Jollymore.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Local celebrity that only smokes on set.
Yeah.
If it's in the script, I don't even know if he does. If it's not.
Oh yeah, that's right. Call out.
What is it about film noirs that you enjoy the most?
Well, if they're put together well enough, then, solving it at the same time can be a lot of the joy. And it's a little bit harder with the like editing brain or whatever, like the film brain going into it.
Yeah.
You know, you can definitely get tunnel vision. You know, you're thinking about the aesthetics of it all and everything kind of all at once. But yeah, and like being able to get actually like wrapped up in the storyline and, you know, be surprised at the end. Like there's a lot of them that are out there, like LA Confidential, a newer one, really, you know, that was able to get in with a good twist. And, Chinatown, of course,
We watched that one together for the first time I watched that.
Yeah. I mean, the hint in that is kind of funny. But yeah, that one gets super twisted. I mean, won't try and spoil all that here just in case there's no way to disclaim that. But, you know, it definitely gets into some hairy waters.
Yeah. I think film noirs were so popular because, you know, they're made usually independently. So there's a lot of practical lighting. They didn't have big budgets to get you know, full studio lighting like Deliverance or Godfather would have got is probably a better example.
Yeah.
So even though Godfather would be noirish,
Yeah.
but the original film noirs, you know, kind of started using shadows and dark to set moods, and they're really contrasty cinematography. And you know, I think they kind of changed the game for some of these still blockbuster films. Still try to use that same aesthetic that was done, but from these films.
Yeah.
Back in the 50s.
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite films, which is also in the neo-noir category, is Seven. And that was dark. And that kind of set the precedent for what David Fincher's films look like.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of like what Jimi Hendrix used to say. Like, look, they even copied my mistakes.
Yeah. Because even, you know, the Batman was very David Fincher-y. David Fincher-esque.
Yeah.
There's that whole thing about in Seven is the... Quiet down, Phyllis, would you? In Seven, it is the GCPD. That's what the department's called.
No, it isn't.
Yeah, so there's a theory that this takes place before Batman.
What?
And think about that, like the sinner, I guess is what you'd call him if he was a Batman villain. But
the sinner,
you know, the sinful six guy, or the 7 deadly sins would be the most incredible Batman. It'd be almost be like a Victor Zsasz.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or a Calendar Man.
Yeah. Definitely.
Yeah. And,
the Cardinal.
Yeah. And just, you know, what great acting from Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman, but, you know, Kevin Spacey really steals the show. Like, he's only in it for what, like a half an hour?
Yeah, probably overall.
But the monologue through the going through the desert, and you really see how smart this guy is because he just gets in Brad Pitt's head exactly how he's trying to.
Yeah.
You know, he's like pretty much damn near emotionless.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's creepy, man.
Rare instance of the bad guy really winning.
Yeah.
You know, they did that without, you know.
Which is a classic film noir move, is that the main characters don't get a happy ending.
Yeah.
They usually end off worse than they were starting off.
Yeah.
But he didn't seem to have that many vices. Usually these guys have a lot of vices and stuff.
Well, he's alone.
Well, no. Well, he's got Brad Pitt.
Oh.
Has Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, yeah. Brad Pitt. Yeah, no, he's got it all. A great new job. A young wife, family thing. going on.
Yeah.
A little bit of a workaholic or whatever,
Yeah.
but he's on a stressful case.
Yeah. But you're right. Morgan Freeman would be the protagonist of that, because he even has, he pulls the. It's almost the same ending as Shawshank, with a Morgan Freeman narration. And this is when Morgan Freeman narrations were like just starting to be a thing, and it's what's he say? Fuck.
Oh.
He says, the world is a crazy place and it's worth fighting for. And I agree with one of those things, or something like that. I forget what it is.
Oh,
Let me
yeah.
look it up. We'll edit this out.
Right quick, we'll edit that out. That's an edit.
Keep them distracted, would you?
If you're gonna edit it out, what am I gonna say?
What's this brought to you by? Halifax Library?
Yeah, thank you, library. Yeah, so many thanks. They allowed me to, free of charge, borrow the book that we have sitting here with us today. In the pages, I think it was 243 to 246, talks about the long goodbye a little bit. Talks about old Sterling, how he wrote his old, this is the old old salt seaman.
You want to keep going?
I was just gonna say that apparently he was a hash head, and in the book, don't look for the long goodbye. It's under the section mirrors.
Weird.
Yeah.
You'd think that'd be a Romeo is bleeding chapter. To make this full circle, Morgan Freeman says, Ernest Hemingway once wrote, "The world is a fine place and it's worth fighting for."
Yeah.
I agree with the second part.
And Sterling Harding or whatever said, "I'm playing Ernest Hemingway, but I'm gonna write my own lines."
Yeah, I wonder if that was unheard of at that point. Yeah, you hear of a lot of people writing their own lines now, or just improving them with the whole Avengers cast. But that's quite the liberty for an actor to have, is just writing their own lines. Because how would that work? Does he write it in the script, do you think? He writes these lines and then Elliot Gould has to remember them?
No, he just puffs his chest out and he says, "You're rolling, cameraman? Alright, I'm going to say it here." I was going to look up one of the lines that he said, but I can't think of anything offhand. It's so... Oh, the albino turd. That's what he calls when the guy comes up to him at the party or whatever. The one who slaps him, the brainwasher. Well, if it isn't the albino turd. Sterling Hayden. That's his name.
What do you think your favorite neo-noir film or film noir would be?
Well, Chinatown really hit me hard when I saw it.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like totally enamored with it.
Yeah.
I loved the story.
I remember you already being a fan of it when we watched it in film.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I discovered that, I mean, it was probably like 2007 or something. It's not, for something that's been around since the 60s or whatever. Or 70s, I guess. LA Confidential, like I had mentioned. The Maltese Falcon, I really enjoyed. The red herring and how that became like such a trope. I mean, that's certainly an integral one.
And that's perfect. Like, film noirs are tropey by nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have to. It's almost like the exact opposite of the hero's journey.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I
there is
mean,
kind of a template for a film noir.
yeah, and we've really had the luxury of being able to research well what is, gonna be the like most um important ones to watch. So every time we watch it, you're never like really disappointed. It's really like a journey of, oh, that's where kind of this might have started, or one that was really important in making that a popular trope.
And like you said earlier, it's it's always not that the main character always has to be a detective.
No.
Or a PI.
Yeah.
But it's the type of film that always puts the audience doing the detective work. And you brushed on that, and I meant to interject and say that.
Mm-hmm.
But do you agree? Like, even Rear Window, he's just a guy with a broken leg. But, he's doing the detective work.
Mm-hmm.
And we were even told in school that, the best thing you can do is not use a detective. Use a guy like in Rear Window. Don't give him a gun. Give him something in the room that he has to use as a weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because then you're more on the level of the person as well.
Yeah.
And, they don't already have all the skills. They get to, be unwitting.
And then, of course, what I was trying to say, like, the audience is in that room with you. Like, Rear Window is a good example, where by the end of that movie, the audience is in that room, has been in that apartment, and is doing the detective work.
Yeah.
Another great film noir is it's Gene Hackman, The Conversation.
Oh, I didn't.
Very, espionage,
Mm-hmm.
conspiracies, paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a really great early Gene Hackman film.
Yeah. And I guess it's kind of noir-y. I watched not a while back The Killing, Stanley Kubrick's first movie.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a racetrack sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll have to look more into that at some point. It wasn't like noir-y, like detective, but it was more from like the heist person's perspective. Oh, and the Sudden Impact or whatever it was, the one on HBO or whatever, with
is this the
Benicio del Toro and
I still
stuff.
haven't seen that. It's
like that one,
a year old or something.
Yeah, that one I really wanted you to see because it looks from like the bad guy's perspective more, but it's still very noir-y.
Yeah.
So it was a good twist on it there.
Yeah.
And I guess it would be noir-y, something like Blood Simple, like the Coen brothers' first film.
Yeah.
Like that one was super cool.
Yeah. What was the movie? One Night, or it's Joaquin Phoenix is the gangster, and his brother.
We Own the Night?
Yeah. That was a good film. That was noir-y.
Yeah.
I really liked that.
Yeah, I did watch that when it came out, and I did like it.
Yeah.
But I don't remember it being that noir-y.
Alright, well, I did that.
You could be right.
Yeah.
You could be right, man.
But that's kind of like a original way of telling a noir type story. I found through the not only the contrast of the brothers, but the relationship of the brothers, and how both their lives affect each other, being on a different side of the coin.
Yeah. One the thief, one the law.
Yeah. Do you think, you know, just how I said that neo noir is neo noir a bit too broad, used too broad, like how film noir? Because I like it's been said that film noir isn't a genre per se, just like the hero's journey isn't a genre,
Mm-hmm.
but like that template. But is that template still has that template broadened with neo noirs, and is it kind of losing? Like, can you just say any film's a neo noir now? Not any film, but
It's harder to pull off now,
yeah,
for sure. Like, like anything with cell phones and stuff, it takes a lot of the legwork out of things and puts it more in a technical way.
yeah,
So you really have to find a way of, disassociating characters from those things, or like, making it something that is integral to the plot,
yeah,
as a device itself. But like that sudden impact one, that was more periody.
yeah,
I believe, I can't remember exactly the era now, since I've seen a few things since then. Um, but yeah, it's hard to kind of, you want to be able to do that stuff in the modern age. And like Bored to Death, I think that had a super smart idea
yeah,
about like, oh, put an ad up on a, a Craigslisty type thing,
yeah,
and just be like, I'm a detective, and get hired for random jobs.
yeah,
I'm sure the show spun more off of that and everything, but what a genius way to get somebody hooked into a modern day sort of thing.
yeah,
But yeah, it's harder to make something that makes sense like that now.
yeah, exactly. And we've
Ben Affleck's in all of them, that's for sure.
yeah, and this is something that we've actually dealt with when trying to develop a film noir or neo noir.
Mm-hmm.
Um, you know, how to have it tropey but not too cliche,
Yeah, well,
and those are a very fine line between.
I would say so, yeah, because like everything, you're determined to spin it on its head.
Yeah,
But yeah, like location scouting for that sort of thing, is you're looking for things that are lost in time.
yeah,
You're trying to create a feel
yeah,
of some sort. It takes a very specific eye to kind of know what you want in a noirish sort of thing,
yeah,
because everything speaks to the time and place.
yeah,
Everything feels like part of a character's life in a noir. The city,
yeah,
the places they go,
yeah,
they live and breathe these places usually.
yeah, 100%. And I don't think we've had a project where we've built such a location bank
Mm-hmm.
to this, because there is an aesthetic, and that's what a huge things with noirs is the aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
more than the subject matter.
Yeah. You can't beat a composition.
Yeah,
You may not have the right lighting sometimes, or
yeah,
maybe like things are all in shadow,
yeah,
but it just adds to that sort of thing.
yeah,
And, the less it looks like something, sometimes the better.
yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, like going back to, people say that 5 Pounds, the short film that we produced, is noir, but you know,
Maybe, yeah. I mean, like, even like some of the writing is kind of like that noirish, like,
yeah,
you know,
downward spiral.
mm,
Always, you don't know what you're getting yourself into.
yeah. Yeah, and it's like, going into the suffering, the kind of in noirs there's so much of that like emptiness in people's lives.
Yeah,
It's got that, and she's kind of like the damsel in distress.
Mm.
You know, the way she comes into his life, and
it seems like the femme fatale. Yeah.
So yeah, it definitely has those kind of things. I mean, he doesn't have the open sign on his office door, but you know, he does come into that sort of thing.
Yeah. And we did have studio lighting in a makeshift studio.
Yeah.
But
and very minimal.
Very minimal.
And a lot of like cheating to get an effect.
Yeah. And it wasn't just lighting to get a mood, but every light had a reason there.
Yeah, all motivated. Like there's a street light here.
Yeah.
And based loosely on like an actual geographic like outdoor location where we planned on shooting the external stuff.
Yeah.
Which we had planned to do.
That was edited out. Yeah. Or not even edited out of what we shot, but edited out of the script. That's one thing I really like about film noirs is the guerrilla film factor of it all. And I think that's what we really wanted to do with our film noir is just pool all our resources together and kind of just steal the city.
Yeah.
And use these locations, use the local talent that we know could, has the
right
chops,
to their strengths, right to their quantities.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, especially over like the pandemic and everything. Like the city was slow before, and it's picking up a little bit now. But yeah, definitely, you can get out there and find empty streets any night of the week.
Yeah, and we do have, that is the modern day conspiracy right now of this era is the pandemic, and I'm surprised that there's not more movies coming out that are kind of based around the conspiracies of pandemic. Is it man-made? Is it who's making the money off it?
Yeah,
stuff like that.
I'm sure we'll start to see those sort of things, especially as like, we feel more screwed out. Like during the beginning of it felt like kind of like, they want to help,
Yeah.
And now it's like, everything is like super shitty.
Yeah.
So.
And nothing makes sense.
Yeah.
Everything's constantly
but I don't like
contradicted because we're just going through it day by day, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I try and, like, in my writings, depart myself so much from, like, the actual what's going on around me. It's like a departure.
Yeah.
But, fuck, yeah, I think we're going to see probably a boom in that kind of stuff. I don't know if people are going to be into it or not so soon. Too soon?
Yeah, too soon. So... we definitely recommend everyone watch Long Goodbye.
Yeah, sleeper hit for sure.
And if you do like Long Goodbye, what are a couple other Altman classics we could check out?
Gonna dive into a little bit more Altman here. So why don't you take a look at that one there first? Tell me kind of...
McCabe and Miss Miller.
Going into these blinds, so...
Right away reminds me of, I didn't even have to flip it. Well, I could see, but just such a western-y name.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have another one here that has a very film noir name.
Yeah.
And I love, would that be considered high concept? Where it's the title, you know exactly what you're getting yourself into. And this isn't even specific.
Mm-hmm.
But just McCabe and Miss Miller.
Yeah.
There's some bloodshed on a horse.
Yeah, it's
Warren
restricted.
B. Presbyterian Church. So it's got some... Is this... Oh, Leonard Cohen. Yeah, I definitely like checking this out. Because westerns and film noirs can be very similar.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, it's kind of chicken and the egg. What came out first, the film noir or the Western?
Definitely the Western.
Because I don't know. Yeah, because I don't know. Film noirs started in the 40s.
Mm-hmm. Well, Western was like one of the first things was just the horse thing. It was back before there was even
one of the first film.
Freaking
the Great Bank Robbery. That was a Western. So the Western film is as old as film itself.
It's the hills. So yeah, I don't know if you got this right from the back, but yeah, put out, like a year or two before Long Goodbye. So a gambler and a prostitute become business partners in an old remote west mining town, and their enterprise thrives until a large corporation arrives on the scene.
Do we have I'd be interested in seeing a list of Robert Altman films.
So this one got a 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, which is actually, I did just see here, okay. Long Goodbye got 7.5. So much higher regarded. Should have been, reviewed far long before the Long Goodbye, yeah. I think. It's got all kinds of goodies here. David Miller comes with a whole bunch of books and stuff to check out here. Talks
it's like a 90s CD cover in there.
Yeah. I like it. Good liner notes.
Got the whole script in there?
It's got a thing called Showdowns by Nathaniel Rich. And so it talks about after Altman did the MASH movie, which of course was notorious for being nothing like the show. I guess he went on to this here. Then we have... You want to hold that up there? What do we know about this guy?
Popeye.
Yeah.
Love spinach.
Yeah.
Rest in peace to comedic legend Robin Williams. Is Sissy Spacek still alive?
It's not.
Or Shelley Duvall?
I think so. Imagine she's still haunted.
Yeah.
So, 1980. So it came out. Maybe she was cleansing her palate from The Shining or something.
Yeah. I wonder if this was the first film since.
Or maybe just before. I don't know if she was ever the same after. So just because you asked about where things kind of land on the list, Popeye is... that McCabe one, also based on a book, so I don't know if he's notorious for basing things on books. But...
This came out the same year as The Shining.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Must have been straight after, straight before.
I'd say straight before, because the myth is that she, because of The Shining, she took a leap of absence from the film industry.
Yeah. So
I guess not the theory, the actual history of her career.
Yeah, it's 5.3 on that one, so not as highly regarded. I feel like I did see parts of it a couple times, so I'm really excited to check that out again. Actually, bless me, love.
And okay, let's see what's next. I think it's the one that I was talking about with the very noir-like name.
Not. This is The Player.
Okay.
So
I'm pretty sure this is his highest acclaimed film.
It is. I would say it is definitely up there.
Whoopi Goldberg.
Bloody hell. So this
A
one,
Hollywood studio executive with a shaky moral compass finds himself caught up in a criminal situation that would be right at home in one of his movie projects. In this biting industry satire from Robert Altman, mixing elements of film noir with sly insider comedy. The Player, based on a novel by Michael Tolkien, functions as both a nifty, stylish murder story and a commentary on its own making.
although we talked a lot about Altman and not that much about his directing or style or anything, but we're still just touching the waters on it. Just quickly on The Long Goodbye, though, it was filmed interesting. Like the story did go along, but I don't know if there's anything super crazy directing wise that you're like, holy shit, this scene
really pops out at you now.
Yeah, it was, as a whole, it was like a lot of like wider shots, I think.
Wider panning shots.
Yeah.
I noticed kind of, you see a lot of it in The Wire. Maybe that was a pull from Robert Altman directing.
Now, so in contrast to that, like The Player has a lot of, like I'm not sure who the cinematography is, but it is like a really advanced play on directing, Like I remember a lot of really like sleek, I think there's like a particular long shot, a lot of like crane shots into, and certainly it's got a 7.5, so about the same amount of acclaim, but like Tim Robbins is like a film exec producer guy, is super good, and didn't know it was Altman, or he wasn't on my radar the first time I really checked that out, so another one super excited to be able to check out.
Yeah, and be able to compare and find those
director trademarks and stuff. Yeah.
You have one more? This is the one with the noir.
Yeah, so because I borrowed a couple of these things from the library, so when I was doing it, I also pulled up this guy here, Shake Hands with the Devil, and
James Cagney.
Yeah, so I don't know how exactly Altman ended up, or this showed up under Altman, but yeah, 1920s IRA, Ireland members are being led by the warmongering Dr. Sean Lenihan, that's James Cagney, as they fight the oppressive British forces. When I first had picked that up, I thought might see Altman somewhere in like the credits listed there, but nowhere to be found. So totally a mystery, this one, but believe in happenstance and happy accidents. So gonna check that out and report back.
Well, such a that name really gets you, and I think what was the one from Home Alone?
Angels with dirty, filthy wings.
With dirty wings.
Dirty wings.
And then that was a play on angels with dirty
filthy
faces. Filthy faces.
Yeah.
Those those names really grip you.
Yeah.
I find. And Shake Hands with the Devil is you want to know what this story is about. And out of all these films that you brought in, I can't wait to see Shake Hands with the Devil and The Player, because I would like to see The Player. Tim Robbins, I can see he would kind of be more like Warren Beatty in his cadence, where you don't really see Tim Robbins in those kind of those roles too much.
Yeah.
Like, I'd like to see him play that kind of character.
And also worth mentioning, Nashville, which we don't have any trace of here with us today. He was known as, like, I think for a time as an ensemble kind of director.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what PTA was saying, you know, with the Boogie Nights connection and stuff like that, had to do with this ensemble cast and how he was able to, you know, balance everything with that. And, you know, he did that in Magnolia and Boogie Nights, you know, it was like a trope of his.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to see, you know, something like that.
Yeah.
So Nashville, and there's another one that I know literally shit all about in his Shortcuts.
Yeah.
Or
Nashville is his most critically acclaimed film, is it?
It could very well be.
I'm pretty sure it is.
I think that was like 7.7, so, you know, it's a pretty even split on everything, all things considered. Yeah, and yeah, I really like to, you know, learn more about him and stuff, so I'm going to check out, you know, this book. I just got this stuff in earlier this week, so sorry, something sounded crackly to me.
I was getting that too, a little bit of feedback there. Might have been picking something up from Studio B. Yeah, but it's fun not just researching a film and dissecting a film, but actually dissecting a director's work or a writer's work.
Yeah, especially like one that, you know, has been not unknown to you per se, but, you know, underrepresented in your, you know, film discography.
Yeah, exactly.
Filmography. Yeah, he goes back way to like 51 with shorts and stuff.
Yeah.
So he was a 20-something years in before he got to Long Goodbye and all of this sort of stuff. And just wanted to mention just a few of his more recent things. He's no longer with us since 2006 when he died at age 81. But he did like Goresford Park, Dr. T and the Women, Gingerbread Man, which I believe was like a thriller. We mentioned noir and stuff, but like the thriller is really like the modern noir in a way.
Yeah.
They added like action more in it and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty well it. I would say let us know what we should watch or what order. I mean, I'm going to try and, you know, hit a few of them off, but, you know, like anything, I could slip off. I could be sleeping on something for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, and definitely, if you made it this long through the episode, throw a comment of another movie that you'd like us to watch.
Yeah.
Tell us what your favorite neo-noir is.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, I think we can comfortably put Robert Altman on the Mount Rushmore of the neo-noir.
Yeah.
For his work very early on.
Yeah, carve him in.
Yeah, carve him in. And this episode was supposed to be done like half hour ago. This was just a long goodbye.
Yeah, too long. Goodbye.
Goodbye. So long. Goodbye.
Shut up.